I'm doing my project on Chapter 21, Problem 21-28A. Okay, so for this problem, Parent Furniture Company manufactures and sells oak tables and chairs. Price and cost data for the furniture are right here. So we're going to be using this data table. Parent Furniture has 3 sales representatives, Avery, Ben, and Corey. Avery sold 100 tables with 4 chairs each. Ben sold 70 tables and 8 chairs each. And Corey sold 80 tables and 6 chairs each. So what we need to do is we need to calculate the total contribution margin and the contribution margin ratio for each sales representative. Before calculating that, we need to begin by identifying and calculating the total number of tables and chairs sold by each representative. Okay, so for Avery, we know that he sold 100 tables, and he also sold 4 chairs per table. So we're going to put 4. So to get the total chairs sold, we need to multiply that. Okay, so we are going to multiply 100 times 4 and put that here. And then we're going to do the same thing for Ben. We know that Ben sold 70 tables and 8 chairs each. So we're going to multiply 70 times 8. And we're going to put his total chairs sold right there. And do the same for Corey. Corey sold 80 tables and 6 chairs each. So he sold a total of 480 chairs. Alrighty, so moving on. So now we have to calculate the sales revenue, variable cost, and contribution margin for each representative. Okay, and to get the sales revenue, what we're going to do is we have to take the total tables sold and multiply that by the sales price of each table. And then we're going to add that to the total chairs sold multiplied by the sales price of each chair. Okay. So for Avery, to get his sales revenue, we know that he sold 100 tables. We have to multiply 100 tables by the sales price of $900. That will give us 90,000. So we're going to hang on to that 90,000. We're going to add it to the total number for the chairs. So we know that Avery sold 400 chairs. We have to multiply that by the sales price of each chair, which is 50. So 400 times 50 is 20,000. So we're going to add the 90,000 from the tables to the 20,000 from the chairs. And we get total sales revenue of $110,000 for Avery. And we're going to do the same for Ben. So we're going to take his total tables sold, which is 70, multiply that by the sales price of 900. So 70 multiplied by 900 is 63,000. We're going to hang on to that and we're going to add it to the total chairs. So we know that Ben sold 560 chairs. Multiply that by 50. We get 28,000. So we're going to add the 63,000 from the tables, and we're going to add that to the 28,000 from the chairs, and we get 91,000 in total sales revenue. we're going to do the same for Corey. So we know Corey sold 80 tables. Multiply that by 900. We get 72,000. And Corey sold 480 chairs. Multiply that by 50. We get 24,000. We're going to add that to the 72,000 from the tables. And we get a total sales revenue of 96,000. Okay, so moving on to variable cost. For variable cost, we have to add the total manufacturing cost and sales commission, because sales commission is also a variable cost. So we're first going to calculate the manufacturing cost. And to do that, what we have to do is we have to take the total tables sold for each sales revenue, multiply that by the manufacturing cost of the tables, which is 540, and then we're going to add that total to total chairs sold multiplied by the manufacturing cost of each chair. And then those two numbers will give us, adding those two numbers together will give us the total variable manufacturing costs. Okay, so to do this, we're going to start off with Avery. Avery sold 100 tables, and we're going to multiply that by the manufacturing cost of each table, so that's 540. So he sold 100 tables times 540 is 54,000. And for his chairs, he sold 400 chairs. We're going to multiply that by the manufacturing cost of $20. So 400 multiplied by 20, we get 8,000. So we're going to add that 8,000 to the 54,000 from the tables. And we get 62,000 for his variable manufacturing cost. And now for Ben, we know Ben sold 70 tables, multiplied that by 540. We get 37,800. Ben also sold 560 chairs, multiply that by 20. We get 11,200. Okay, so 11,200 from the chairs plus 37,800 from the tables. We get 49,000 for variable cost for Ben. Now for Corey, Corey sold 80 tables, multiply that by 540. We get 43,200. And for his chairs, he sold 480 chairs, multiply that by 20. We get 9,600. I'm going to add that to the table total, 43,200. And we get a total variable manufacturing cost of 52,800 for Corey. Okay, now that we have the variable manufacturing cost for each representative, we're going to calculate the sales commission. We're going to add in the sales commission so that we can get the total variable cost. Now, to do that, to get the variable commission cost, we need to take the total sales revenue and multiply that by the sales commission, and that will give us the variable commission cost. So for Avery, we know his total sales revenue is $110,000. We're going to multiply that by 10%. So we're going to take the 110,000, multiply that by 10%, that gives us $11,000 as his variable commission cost. Now for Ben, his total sales revenue is $91,000. We're going to multiply that by the 10%. We get $9,100 as his variable commission cost. Okay, and now for Corey, his sales revenue is $96,000. We're going to multiply that by 10%. And we get $9,600 as his variable commission cost. So we're going to take the variable commission cost for each sales revenue and we're going to add it to the variable manufacturing cost, and that will give us the total variable cost for each sales representative. So for Avery, his variable commission cost is $11,000, and we're going to add that to his variable manufacturing cost, which is $62,000. And we get $73,000 as his total variable cost. We're going to do the same for Ben. So Ben's variable commission cost is $9,100. Add that to his variable manufacturing cost of $49,000. We get $58,100 as his total variable cost. Now for Corey, Corey's variable commission cost is $9,600. Add that to his manufacturing cost of $52,800. $96,600 plus $52,800. We get $62,400 as his total variable cost. $62,400. Okay. Now we're going to calculate the contribution margin. Okay. So for the contribution margin, to calculate that, all we need to do is we need to subtract the variable cost from the sales revenue. So for Avery, we know his variable cost is $110,000 minus $73,000. And then we get $37,000 as his contribution margin. We're going to do the same for Ben. So Ben, $91,000 sales revenue minus $32,900 as his contribution margin. For Corey, sales revenue $96,000 minus variable cost of $62,400. We get $33,600. Alrighty. Now we're going to calculate the contribution margin ratio for each sales representative. Okay, now to do that, what we need to do is we need to take the contribution margin and divide that by the sales revenue, and that will give us the contribution margin ratio. Now, for Avery, we know his contribution margin is $37,000, and his sales revenue is $110,000. So all we're going to do is multiply that 37,000 divided by 110,000. We get, and then we're going to also round 2 decimal places. So we get 33.64. For Ben, contribution margin is 32,900. Sales revenue is 91,000. We get 36.15 as the ratio. Now for Corey, contribution margin is 33,600. Sales revenue is 96,000. We're going to divide those. We got we got 35%. Okay, great. Now that we have the contribution margin ratios all calculated, which sales representative has the highest contribution margin ratio? So we can see here that Ben has the highest contribution margin ratio. And the reason why Ben has the highest contribution margin ratio is because Ben sold the most chairs which the chairs have a higher contribution margin ratio compared to the tables. And that is problem P21 to 21A.